it's a great honor, right, to be asked to be a bridesmaid. It's a great privilege to be a bridesmaid in a wedding. It was even a greater privilege in the time that Jesus was speaking, because the bridesmaids had a very important role. Amongst other things, supporting their friends and things, they had a very important role, and here's what it was like. The weddings would typically happen later in the evening, at the end of the harvest season, where it was getting dark. So the wedding ceremony would typically happen at night as darkness was falling. And as things got dark, the bridesmaids would hang out with the bride in her parents' house, waiting for the groom to come. And you didn't know when the groom was coming. But as soon as the groom was sighted, someplace in the distance, the shout would go out, just like Jesus just said, "The groom is coming, the groom is coming." And the bridesmaids had this very important role, to have a lamp. Each of them had a lamp, and they were to go out and kind of line the path where the groom would come, and to present light so the groom wouldn't get lost, so wouldn't fall, so injury. And it was great honor and privilege and an important role to light the way for the groom to come to the bride. And then together, the bride and groom then would walk back to where they would now live together, which was typically an extension of his parents' house. They would take them back with these lamps, and then the door would be closed, and then the celebration, 7-day celebration, would begin. And so what Jesus is saying here, so there's 10 bridesmaids, and the groom didn't come in the time that they expected him to, because nobody knew when the groom would come. But all of a sudden the shout goes out, the groom's coming, and so all 10 bridesmaids get up, they all grab their lamps. What did Jesus say? Only 5 of them had oil, had sufficient oil to light their lamps. Only 5 of them knew and understood that things don't always happen in the right time frame, in the way that we expect. Now, I can tell you, as someone who is privileged to do a lot of weddings, it doesn't always happen in the time frame that you expect. I want to be careful here, because I've done many of your weddings. I'm privileged to do that. But sometimes I time things, okay, wedding ceremony's going to be this long, and a little bit before, a little bit after, and I might have a commitment to get to right after, so I try to work on my time frames so that I can do all the things that perhaps are planned for that day, but sometimes it doesn't work that way. Sometimes someone is delayed. In this story, it was the groom. In my experience, it was the bride, but it's the same idea. I can tell you about one time, and I'll say this lovingly, the couple's not here. You won't know who they are. But I remember leaving the house saying, "Hey, honey, I'll be back in like an hour and a half. I'm just going, I've been preparing this couple for their wedding, and I can't stay for the reception, but I'll be back in like an hour and a half." Well, the bride was 2.5 hours late. 2.5 hours late. Nobody seemed concerned about it either, except me. 2.5 hours late, and then when she got there, they weren't quite ready. So we waited around like 30 more minutes, and then we began the ceremony. And the real kicker for me was not only the bride was late, and then we got going even later than that, but as we're doing the ceremony, 3 hours later than was scheduled, the guests were still arriving for the wedding. I really had struggle. I didn't get that, and it's usually not that bad, but it happens a fair amount. So this is a loving word from me. If you ask me to do your wedding, and I'm privileged to do it, let's do it on time. It makes life easier for me and for all of us, so we'll do it on time. This is all about me. It's all about me. It's nothing to do with them. This is a story about the bridesmaids in a wedding, and the groom, for some reason, was delayed. And of the 10 bridesmaids, only 5 had enough oil, knowing that things could happen. And so when the shout goes out in the middle of the night, the groom's coming. All 10 get up. They get out there. 5 don't have any oil for their lamps, so they say to the other 5, "Give us some of your oil. Give us some of your oil so that we can fulfill our responsibility and our privilege and our honor, so that we can have this important role." But the 5 say to them, "We can't give you our oil, Because if we give you our oil, then all the lamps will burn out. There isn't enough. You have to have your own oil. There isn't enough. This is a very strong message, passionate message Jesus is saying. Jesus is saying, be prepared. You don't know when I'm coming. You don't know when I'm going to come. It could be today, it could be tomorrow. Many of the people listening to him in that day thought it would be. It hasn't been. We don't know when it will come. Guys, we have to have our own oil. You know what that means? You have to have your own relationship with Jesus. I have to have my own relationship with Jesus. You can't rely on your mother or father's relationship with Jesus. You can't rely on your spouse's relationship with Jesus. You can't rely on your pastor or anyone else's relationship with Jesus. You and I need to have our own relationship, our own faith, our own oil that comes to us through the Lord Jesus Christ. One that will take us through the delays and the heartaches and the hard times in life. One that still will burn brightly no matter when Jesus comes back or when we go to him. The question today is not who's a bridesmaid. Do you know who a bridesmaid is? Every one of us. Every one of us. The question is, which bridesmaid are we? We come to church. It's a good thing. It's a nice thing. Wonderful thing. Important thing. Won't give you enough oil. Do certain things, maybe very good, very positive things. The question is, do you and do I, do we have our faith in Jesus Christ? Have we allowed him to fill us with his Spirit? And will we be prepared? When the shout finally comes, he's coming. The bridegroom is coming. When we get up, will our lamps have enough oil, guys? Which bridesmaid are we? Don't rely on someone else's oil. Because at the end, did you see how it ended? So tragic. So tragic. They went to get oil, and then they went to the house, but the house door was already closed. The celebration had already begun. And what was the response from the groom? It wasn't, you're late. That wasn't the response. The response was, I don't know you. I don't know you. Wow. That's pretty heavy, right? That's pretty strong. And then we see it as Jesus rolls into this next parable, this time speaking about a master with 3 servants, and the master is going away on a journey. And so he entrusts his entire estate to 3 servants based on their abilities. He gives one 5 talents, one 2 talents, and one 1 talent. And he says, I'm going away on a journey. I'm entrusting my estate to you. Please take what I have given to you, entrust it to you, and use it for my glory. Use it to extend my estate. Use it because you know my heart and you know what I would want. Because you've been with me. Use it to build up the work of my estate and my kingdom. And so the master goes away on a long journey. And none of the 3 servants knows when he will get back. But when he comes back, we hear that the one who was given 5, entrusted with 5 talents, and by the way, talent was actually a measure of money, and so many thousands of dollars each talent. But the focus is not on just economics here. The focus of the talent is resources. What we've been entrusted with based on our abilities. The Lord entrusts us with certain resources, our time, our energy, our strength, our abilities, our understanding, and our finances. All these things are combined in this thing about talents. And the guy that had 5, when the master comes back, he can't wait to see the master. Master, you're home. I've been waiting for the day that you've come home, and I love you, and I sought to honor you and be faithful to you. And those 5 talents you gave to me, I'm so grateful that there's been a blessing on my efforts, and 5 more. I wrote it, I doubled it. Master, this is for you. The master says, oh, well done. Good and faithful servant. I'm so grateful. I'm so excited. Let's celebrate together because you have honored me in this way. talents heard the master was home. Comes to the master with great excitement. Master, I've been waiting. I love you. I've sought to honor you, to be faithful to you. I've been investing what you've given to me for the work that I knew you would want me to do, and it's doubled. Here's 4. And the master says, well done, my faithful servant. I'm so proud of you. Let's celebrate together. And then the third one. The third one hears the master has come, and so he goes to the backyard with his shovel. He digs a hole, and he gets that 1 talent out that was given to him. And he brings it before the master, and he says, here you go. You gave me 1 talent. I was fearful. I didn't want to lose it. I didn't want it to waste away, and so I buried it. And the master says, you are so lazy. Your heart is so wicked. You know who I am, and you know what my heart and my passion and my vision and my focus is. And knowing all those things, you chose to bury what I entrusted to you. And while the other 2 received a great celebration, the third one, it was tragic. Jesus says the master will say, take from him the 1 talent he has because he's just simply wasted it selfishly. Take my other 2 servants into the party, but for you it's suffering. For you it's a tragic end. And so what is Jesus saying here? We can say, wow, that sounds so harsh. That sounds so judgmental for Jesus to say that. Remember, guys, Jesus has demonstrated his love, his mercy, his faithfulness. All of those who are listening to him have journeyed with him, and they know who Jesus is. They know that Jesus is merciful, that he's compassionate. They have seen Jesus day in and day out, putting his love and pouring his love into those who are sick, to those who are hungry, to those who are poor. They have seen Jesus as he hangs out with the thief and the prostitute.